Breaking right now, lots of speculation about what is going on with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after she decided to call in sick to a major Kevin Costner charity event on Friday night after that damning Hollywood Reporter takedown described her as a dictator in high heels. According to Taz, is the royal YouTube sensation who, as ever, has some of the best royal insights online, and I'm delighted that she joins me now. So Taz, lots to unpick here. This was quite a shock that Meghan wasn't at the Kevin Costner event, wasn't it? It's for first responders. It's a charity thing. There were lots of A-listers there like Jeff Bridges and Rob Lowe and Pink. And you'll remember last year, Meghan very much was there centre stage. So what do you think is going on? Is she really sick, or was she concerned that there was going to be serious backlash because this would be the first time she would have appeared in front of the public since this absolutely damning investigation by the Hollywood Reporter?
Wow, there's lots to unpack with this. There's lots of theories obviously going round. I personally, with Meghan, we know that she's excited to turn up at the opening of an envelope. The thought that
Yes.
she could be mingling with with other A-listers. For her to turn that down, it must be something serious. And I think it's got more to do with ego than it does illness, in all honesty. Firstly, as you said, that very, very damning article has come out from the Hollywood Reporter with reportedly 12 people willing and waiting to back it up. So they've made sure that they have dotted their I's and crossed their T's. 12 people is an awful lot of people to be confirming more bullying allegations. So there is that. But then there is also the fact that Meghan was there last year and she was humiliated, not once, but twice. And it was all over the organisers not wanting her to have the microphone. Firstly, she came on stage, and I think it was Harry was meant to give a speech because one of the female organisers walked over to Harry with the microphone and he gestured like he does to give it to Meghan. And Meghan reached for it, and the lady quickly changed her mind, took the microphone away, and pretended that she was walking in the distance. And then, not long after that humiliation, obviously, this is on the stage, everybody's there watching it. The other organizer, a gentleman, goes to hand the microphone to Harry again. And yet again, Meghan goes to take it. He holds it back and even laughs and says no, and then continues talking. So it could be lots of reasons why she didn't go, but I think her being genuinely sick is at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, indeed. And it's odd as well, isn't it? Because I know we're going to come to Prince Harry in New York, where he is today, very shortly, but she's also not there either. So this was an opportunity for her to turn up with Harry, to put some of the rumours to rest. Quite significant that she decided not to do that.
Yes, there certainly seems to be, I would say, trouble ahead, I think, for the couple. It's becoming glaringly obvious that salt and pepper, as Meghan once said, no longer moves together. They seem to be doing more and more things completely separate of each other. But I've noticed a real shift. It seems that Harry is the one being elevated. It's Harry being asked to go to events and not Meghan. She is still obviously on WME's client list, but it would seem that Harry's almost being elevated and Meghan is being pushed into the background. Now, I can't see her taking that taking that too well, to be honest with you. And as you said, he's in New York. It's only the first 24 hours of his appearances, and I'm sure that we will get a paparazzi car park stroll with Meghan, who miraculously appears somewhere in the Santa Barbara, Montecito area. You can synchronize your watches to it normally when her husband is making appearances. But there does seem to be trouble afoot for the couple.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? It is very
Yeah.
odd. And certainly there's trouble in terms of her Hollywood career because, as you say, yes, we believe she is still represented by WME, but for how much longer? Because she didn't show up to the Emmy party that they hosted, and that's a really significant moment in the Hollywood calendar. Again, that would have been an opportunity for her to say, oh, I'm not taking this Hollywood Reporter thing very seriously, but I think she is, and I will come to that momentarily. But first, it wasn't a particularly good night, I have to say, for Harry either at the Kevin Costner event, because firstly, there was an awkward moment where he was mistaken for Prince William. Now, this was by the wife of Richard Marx, who ended up tagging the Prince and Princess of Wales Instagram account instead of Harry, who obviously doesn't have an Instagram account. And then Richard himself, when he came off stage, nearly missed Harry. And I thought this very, very short video, Taz, really sums up just how far Harry has fallen. He now has to hang around backstage waiting for no-mark pop stars to shake their hand, even though they're not introduced, and desperately be called Prince Harry. Watch this.
Richard, Prince Harry. Hey, well done. Richard, Prince Harry. Hey, well done.
So that's what he does now, Taz. He sort of hangs around backstage at a moderately interesting A-list event and is introduced as Prince Harry to these celebrities who don't really give a damn.
That was it. That's where we were at. Richard Marx walking down the stairs and how far Harry's fallen. Yes, the fact that he had to be introduced. This is Prince Harry. And notice that the member of staff did introduce him as Prince Harry as well. We were told when Harry left the royal family, he just wanted to be known as Harry, didn't he? He just wanted to be Jack the lad. But back is that princely title, even though he hates everything to do with the royal family. But yes, so that did make me laugh. And
it just
he's a bit of a
it just didn't go down well for him at all. And actually, I want to just show you this exchange of X messages that you were involved with. But Royally Sage wrote, sick with worry, she might be booed after exposed as a bully, more like. The coward train continues. So that was about why Meghan didn't turn up. But then, interestingly, Katie Stevens-Miller, who was actually at the event, posted saying, I was at Kevin Costner's event last night, actually held at his backyard. I took this photo of Harry without his wife when he was introduced. He did not get a very welcoming reception. And you wrote, Taz, very different to the images sold to the media. He wasn't booed, but he wasn't well received. He looked like a pit bull chewing a wasp. Most normal people would feel embarrassed, but Harry just looks angry and resentful how far he has fallen. And this is very much in line with Angela Levin's reporting here on Outspoken, that at the bookstore event in Montecito, there was some booing of Meghan too. So certainly their stock has significantly fallen, even locally now.
Oh, it's absolutely plummeted. I think they're at ground zero. I mean, especially Meghan. I can't see that her popularity can get any lower. As I said, I am finding it a little bit, there has been a bit of a shift because it seems that everyone is going for Meghan at the moment. Yet Harry seems to be getting a slight, teeny tiny free pass. He was obviously invited to this charity fundraiser for Kevin Costner. Whether Meghan, for, as we said, multiple reasons why she probably didn't go, licking some wounds from last year, it's obvious that Harry is still trying to do the celebrity circuit and go in it alone. So that, to me, shows that he is becoming more independent from Meghan. There is definitely a shift in their dynamics. He does seem, a lot of the time that we've seen him at any events he's been with her, he seems more fed up than what she does. I mean, obviously Meghan is an actress. She's always had that exact same rictus grin. But Harry does seem very, very tired of it all. But he obviously still isn't ready to give up this push for a celebrity stroke royal lifestyle. Otherwise, he wouldn't continue to go to events like this. But it is definitely a fall from grace when an 80s icon, Richard Marx, has to be told, oh, this is Prince Harry. So his ego is definitely being hit hard as well at the moment.
It is. I mean, what's very interesting, Taz, is that the Hollywood Reporter article did give Harry a pass. It was basically like, oh, he's a nice guy, but he enables her. So do you think he will be siding with her over this, or is finally the rose-tinted glasses starting to come off and there is a dawning realization from Harry, oh my goodness, my brother was right?
Oh, I think you're giving him far too much credit at this early stage, Dan. I think Harry's got many more years before that actually dawns on him. I'm not even sure Harry will ever admit that other people were right. Lots of people have spoken out about Harry over the years, people that have known him from childhood, and said that he never, ever will back down. He will never admit that he's been wrong. But I do think that the hold that Meghan has over him has definitely slipped. He seems less willing to play the game. He doesn't look happy a lot of the time. He does look resentful and bitter, as we saw from that tweet from someone that was actually there. That's with the media selling us this happy Harry. Oh, look, he looks really popular. Everybody looks really happy. But then when people are actually there or the cameras are off Harry, you can see that he's not happy at all. And he's not as liked as what they try and sell to, say, People magazine, for example, who they give their exclusives to.
Now, Taz, just when I thought I could no longer be shocked by the twists and turns in this couple's media relationship, an absolutely bizarre thing happened over the weekend where Meghan decided to use GB News, my former employer, which has definitely done some sort of 180 when it comes to their coverage of the Sussexes. I know a lot about that, which I'm not going to go into in detail today, but they've now effectively been used as the outlet to deny the Hollywood Reporter story. It is an absolutely bizarre article. Here's the headline. Meghan Markle's message to her employees revealed as fresh details emerge after dictator claims. And then the article reads, GB News has been handed an absolute denial of the allegations as well as Meghan's message to her employees, and has confirmed with several current staffers that the Duchess' difficult moniker has never been used. One Archewell source who asked not to be named said, "These quotes were fabricated by someone lacking knowledge of our company. The Duke and Duchess work from Montecito and we're based in Hollywood. They likely think we're all in the same office and that this quote would fly, but the circumstances don't even allow for it. If she's marching around and barking orders to Archewell employees, no Archewell employee could factually claim that. It's total nonsense." The Duchess of Sussex had been targeted by claims that she had filed angry 5 a.m. emails to employees. And then GB News has another source saying, "Who hasn't sent an email when they can't sleep or are awake early? I've never once ever got an email from either of them at that hour. And even if I did, the Duchess specifically notes in her email signature that everyone has a different working day and to not feel obligated to respond outside of working hours." In another condemnation of the claims, GB News understands that Meghan's email signature contains the phrase, quote, "My working day may not be your working day. Please do not feel obliged to reply to this email outside your normal working hours." So I would say, firstly, Taz, that absolutely confirms that she is sending emails at 5:30 a.m. But whatever. My biggest point is, wow, what happened to GB News? And how desperate is Meghan to now be using one of her former enemies to deny this story? It was nuts. First though, have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked. He's in his 80s and still kicking butt and working out and staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/outspoken or by clicking in the link in the show notes below this video on YouTube and Rumble. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/outspoken and click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. You simply will not believe how simple it is. Just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old, and I have to be honest, he has more energy than me. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health, simply focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. So watch his method by clicking the link in the description box below, but I'll give it to you now as well. sharkdefense.com/outspoken, or you can also scan on the QR code on screen right now. But back to the show.
Oh, it completely was. I mean, it's such an obvious clapback. I mean, the response that she apparently put, she has that just randomly in her emails, like a sign-off, a signature to say, I understand that my working day is not your working day. It makes her sound so magnanimous and just down to earth. And it's just a complete defense of a lot of the accusations that have been directed at her. And it's laughable. It really is. But as you said, GB News, that really did surprise me, because
what are you doing?
We know that they use People magazine. We know that they do things like that. But honestly,
what are GB News doing? Swallowing this propaganda. I mean, it's simply not true. I mean, if you actually break down what they're trying to say, Taz, okay, so are you really saying that Meghan and Harry have had no contact with Archewell employees? Because if so, there's a bigger issue there, isn't there? It's just a completely bizarre defense.
It is. None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. The fact that they've gone into every tiny detail about it, saying, oh, well, the staff aren't here. Meghan can't shout at staff because she's never around staff. And it's like, well, really? Is that really true? Because obviously they've lost so many members of staff. And
why are they leaving? Why are they all leaving? Exactly.
Too many, Dan, way too many.
Why not issue a response to why 12 staff members in the US have decided to speak out against you? Why not issue a denial about why actually close to 40 staff, according to Angela Levin, have now left their employ either in the UK or the US? There was no even attempt to address that.
No, it's like they've picked the most petty thing that they could have addressed, which is Meghan sending 5 a.m. emails. In the grander scheme of things, I don't think employees are running out of the Archewell offices because they get an email when they log into their accounts or whatever time it is. It's quite clearly obvious that something a lot more horrid is going on with the treatment of the staff. Because to lose, I mean, we know it's 18 definitely of the top executives, but obviously that doesn't account assistants, administration, house staff, and all of the other people that make, a business work that maybe would be lower level. It's honestly the ratio of the amount of staff that they've lost from when they've left the royal family, and they can't blame the royal family. It doesn't look very good for them as being employers. They sound like horrible bosses, which is ironic because obviously Meghan was had a cameo in that film.
Yes. Now, Prince Harry is in New York without Meghan Markle. This is like the ultimate globalist fest, isn't it, Taz? Because he was with the Queen of Belgium, the Hollywood star Forrest Whitaker, and then Dr. Tedros, the malign influence from the World Health Organization. So this is Harry doing his globalist thing, right?
Yeah, this is Harry being the global leader that he likes to tell us that he is, and we don't actually know who he leads. I mean, it's clearly obvious that Meghan leads him around their garden on a regular basis. But he looks like, look at him there. Look at that picture, Dan. He looks like a deer caught in the headlights. He's out of his depth. He really is. He only knows how to be someone that sits there, shakes hands, introduces themselves. I'm Prince Harry, and that's pretty much it. He's completely out of his depth with these people. He's only honestly there. He's invited purely because of his royal connections, because he is Diana's second son, because his father's the king. People are not inviting Harry there for his intellectual capabilities.
Prince Harry, that you say you are disgusted about. So explain what's happened here.
I'm sorry, Dan, I've just literally been connected to you. I haven't had a word that you've just said.
Oh, sorry, Taz. So sorry, Taz. Let me just repeat that again. Sorry, we're having crazy technical issues today, but thank you for hanging on. I was just saying...
Technical issues.
Technical issues, sadly, yes. But I was just saying there's a new Invictus Games controversy involving Prince Harry and a veteran on the Canadian team who says he's out of thousands of dollars after being injured on the court. And Taz, you're disgusted by this. Surely it's something that Prince Harry, given his millions and millions, could easily just step in and resolve, right?
I think this pulls the entire Invictus Foundation under a very, very negative light. I actually think this is appalling. Over the last couple of years, we've seen them spend so much money, it's been reported, on Harry and Meghan's appearances. There's money reportedly. There was a whistleblower that came forward and had said that there were concerns about Harry's and Meghan's expenses eating into the funds. We know that Canada, the Canadian government, gave, I believe it was 30 million Canadian dollars to help bolster this big Whistler event that they've got, the first Winter Games. Money should be spent prioritising the veterans attending those games. Money should be spent on making sure that they can attend the games, that their families go with them. And there should be insurance in place to make sure that if any of the veterans are injured, that it's taken care of. This is honestly, it did make me very, very angry. And it's very sad to see, because I think outside of the umbrella of the Invictus Games once being under the Royal Foundation, now that it isn't, we are seeing more and more negative things towards the overall treatment, I would say, in this instance, especially to the veterans, the people that the Games is meant to be about, the fact that it's actually meant to be helping veterans and their families, and yet they have left this gentleman in this situation where he's thousands and thousands of pounds out of pocket. And I cannot believe that the Invictus Games cannot afford to pay for medical expenses. He injured himself playing in those games.
Very, very good point. And gosh, it really hasn't been a good weekend for Harry and Meghan, because the National Portrait Gallery has now decided to mothball this black and white image that they initially acquired, and they're now not going to be displaying it at all, despite a big announcement from the photographer. Do you know what happened here?
Yeah, this made me laugh. It really did make me chuckle this morning. It's because Miss Anne Harriman made such a big announcement when this photograph was apparently going to be displayed. You know, he posted it on Instagram, but straight away there were issues, because despite him going publicly with it, saying, you know, dreams can happen, this is huge, my portrait's going to be hanging up in the National Portrait Gallery, which the media initially ran with. The National Portrait Gallery issued a statement when, I think it was the Daily Mail, someone had spoken to them, and they said, we've only just received it. It's got to go through cataloguing yet. We don't have any intentions of displaying it at this point. And it's almost as if Miss Anne Harriman checked his phone that the postman had delivered it, and the moment that there was a signature at the National Portrait Gallery, he's gone, my work's being displayed. It was this big, huge announcement and fanfare. Now, whilst it is still quite, I'm sure, a wonderful thing for him that they're going to keep it in their catalogue system, they've got hundreds of thousands of photographs down, dating back to, I think, the 1800s, of, you know, lots of images that are held there. So it wasn't quite this big, shiny, trumpet-blowing exercise that I think he tried to portray it. It was like he was saying, hey, look, my work's going to be hanging up on the wall. It's going to be part of a big collection, and it's just going to be number 259,000 in the Rolodex.
And that ain't ever going to be seen, is it? Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show, then visit www.outspoken.live.